Class 6 Social Studies TET examination. Which Sangam text vividly describes Pumbuhar as a bustling port city? Pattinam. So Pattinam is described as Pumbuhar as a bustling port city. Where did River Kaveri meet the sea in Sangam times, forming Pumbuhar? Near present-day Mailadurai. Which two epics glorify the maritime trade of Pumbuhar? Silapadigaram and Manimegalai. So Silapadigaram and Manimegalai glorify the maritime trade of Pumbuhar. What caused the decline of Pumbuhar according to tradition? According to tradition, submergence by sea, maybe by tsunami or sea erosion, they are declined. Which foreign traders visited Pumbuhar? Greeks and Romans. They only visited Pumbuhar. Greeks and Romans. What was a moral principle followed by Pumbuhar merchants? So the moral principle is honesty and fair pricing. These are the principles followed by the merchants, Pumbuhar merchant. Which craft was highly advanced in Pumbuhar besides trade? Shipbuilding and repairing. Shipbuilding and repairing are the highly advanced in Pumbuhar besides trade. Why is Madurai called the city that never sleeps? So why we call means due to day markets, Nalangadi, and night markets, Alangadi, city never sleeps, Madurai. Which dynasties successively ruled Madurai? Pandyas, Cholas, Kalabaras and Nayaks. They only ruled Madurai successively. Which archaeologist excavation confirmed Madurai's antiquity? Wheeler, an Indian archaeologist. Wheeler, an Indian archaeologist excavation confirmed Madurai's antiquity. What foreign evidence indicates Madurai's trade links? Roman coins and Greek historian records. Which text praises Madurai as a center for justice and governance? Silapadigaram. What was the key feature of Madurai's trade organization? Security and regulated markets. Which term denotes Madurai's protective nature against invasion? Fortified city. Why did Kanchi gain fame in ancient times? As a renowned educational center. So Kanchi gained fame as a renowned educational center. Which sects of developed scholastic tradition in Kanchi? Buddhist and Jains. Buddhist and Jains developed scholastic traditions in Kanchi. Which Pallava king patronized Kanchi as a learning hub? Mahendra Varma first. Which temple architecture gave Kanchi a global recognition? Kailasanatha temple gave architecture for Kanchi global recognition. What was Kanchi's contribution to water management? Construction of lakes, canals, dams. Which literary work praised Kanchi's scholastic excellence? Perum Pandurai. Perum Panaputturai. Which Tamil kingdom was linked with Tanjavur and Nagapattinam? Cholinadu. Madurai was the capital of which ancient Tamil kingdom? Pandyanadu. Which regions belong to Chera country? Coimbatore, Nilgiris, Karur and Kanyakumari. Kanchipuram was a part of which territorial region? Tondai Nadu. Which Sangam king was praised for promoting maritime trade? Karikala Chola. Which port is associated with pearl trade in Pandya kingdom? Korkai. Which river valley civilization preceded the Vedic age? Indus Valley civilization. What marked the beginning of Vedic age in India? Aryan migration through Khyber Pass. Which four texts form the foundation of Vedic knowledge? Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda and Atharva Veda. Which region is called Stupa Sindhu in Rig Vedic times? Punjab, the land of 7 rivers. Which farming method was practiced by early Vedic people? slash and burn agriculture. Which metal revolutionized agriculture in later Vedic age? Iron. Which was a staple food of Rig Vedic society? Barley. Which coin is mentioned as currency in Vedic literature? Niksha. What were the three classes in early Vedic society? Brahmins, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. Which fourth class was added in later period? Shrudras. Which two assemblies checked the king's power in Rig Vedic polity? Sabha and Samiti. Which tax was introduced in later Vedic period? Bali. Which Vedic text gives detailed rituals and sacrifices? Yajurveda. Who was the chief duty of Rig Vedic people? Indra. Which Vedic god was associated with fire? Agni. Which deity gradually gained importance in later Vedic period? Vishnu. What system of education was prevalent in Vedic times? Gurukul system. Which four stages of life were prescribed by Vedic philosophy? Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. Which philosophical text developed towards the end of Vedic period? Upanishad. In Vedic age, what was the role of Rajan? Tribal chief or king? Which Vedic goddess symbolized learning? Saraswati. Which occupation became dominant in later Vedic economy? Agriculture. What type of pottery was common in later Vedic age? Painted graveware. Which iron tool accelerated forest clearance for farming? Iron axe. In megalithic culture, what does the word megalith mean? Megalith means big stone. Which burial practice was common in megalithic age? Urn burial. Which site in Tamil Nadu revealed the megalithic finding? Adichanallur. Which two-color pottery is associated with megalithic people? Black and red ware. Which metal was predominantly used by megalithic people? Iron. Which ornaments were formed in megalithic graves? Gold and brass beads. Which animals were domesticated by megalithic culture? Horses, elephants, cattle. Which Tamil Nadu site revealed the planned drainage system in megalithic phase? Keeladi. Which foreign connection is proved by megalithic finding in Tamil Nadu? Roman trade evidence. Which monuments were built for warriors in megalithic culture? Hero stones, Nadikal. What are dolmens? Stone chamber or tombs with capstones. What are menhir? Upright stone pillar for memorials. Which Tamil text refers to hero stones? Purananuru. Which megalithic tool shows warfare advancement? Iron sword. What was the major export from Tamil region in megalithic age? Iron and steel. Which evidence shows cattle-based economy in megalithic times? Bones in burial sites. Which cultural age overlapped with Sangam period in Tamil Nadu? Megalithic age. Which was a dominant lifestyle in megalithic Tamil Nadu? Agriculture with pastoral elements. Which term denotes commemorative stones of fallen heroes? Nadukal. Which site revealed iron plough evidence in Tamil Nadu? Kodumanal. Which century marked the beginning of intellectual awakening in India? 6th century BCE. What were the causes of intellectual awakening? Complex rituals, caste inequality, and new social needs. Which two regions merged as reformist movement? Jainism and Buddhism. Who was the first Jain Tiruthankara? Rishabhadanta. Who was the 24th Tirthankara of Jainism? Mahavira. Where was Mahavira born? Kodagrama in Bihar. What was Mahavira's principle of non-violence called? Ahimsa. What are the three jewels of Jainism? Right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct. Which sect believed women cannot attain salvation in Jainism? Digbaras. Which Jain sect allowed women salvation? Shatbaras. Who was the founder of Buddhism? Gautama Buddha. Where was Buddha born? Lumbini in Nepal. What were the 4 sights that changed Buddha's life? Old man, sick man, dead body, ascetic. Where did Buddha attain enlightenment? Bodh Gaya. Under which tree did Buddha attain enlightenment? Bodhi tree, people tree. What are the 4 noble truths? Life is suffering. Desire causes suffering. End desire to end suffering. Follow eightfold path. What are eightfold path? Right to view, intention, speech, action, livelihood, efforts, mindfulness, concentration. Which Buddhist council compiled the Tripitaka? First Buddhist council. What does Vinaya Pitaka contain? Vinaya Pitaka contains monastic rules. What does Sutta Pitaka contain? Buddha's sermons. What does Abhidharma Pitaka contain? Philosophical teaching. Which emperor spread Buddhism outside India? Ashoka. Which Buddhist sect worship Buddha as God? Mahayana. Which Buddhist sect follows original teaching strictly? Hinayana. What are Buddhist monasteries called? Viharas. What are Buddhist prayer hall called? Chaityas. What is stupa? Dome shaped structures housing relics. Which Tamil Buddhist epic narrates the story of Kovalan's daughter, Manimegalai? Which Buddhist text contain previous birth story of Buddha? Jataka tales. What was the moral aim of Jataka tales? To teach ethics and righteous conduct. Thank you. We'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.